170 guests, 3 Ralph Lauren dresses. Taylor Swift giving the speech of a lifetime. But at 11 p.m., when the party was just getting started, Selena Gomez did something nobody expected. She left her own wedding. Here's why. September 27, 2025, Sea Crest Nursery, Santa Barbara. The wedding was perfect. The 70-acre private estate, overlooking the Pacific. The eclectic decor with rugs everywhere, because Benny hates shoes. The Nobu catering at cocktail tables instead of formal sit-down dinner. The ice cream sundae bar. Taylor Swift had just given her speech, an extremely heartfelt one, where she talked about seeing Selena on the floor crying over ex-boyfriends, mentioning her broken heart, and how happy she was that Selena finally had Benny. Ed Sheeran spoke. Martin Short and Steve Martin did their joint routine. The hora had been danced. Selena's grandfather, David Cornett, had walked her down the aisle in the most emotional moment of the night. Everything was magical. And then, at 11 p.m., Selena disappeared. Let's rewind to that morning. Selena sat in the $3,500 a night El Encanto hotel room, wearing pale pink silk pajamas. Her friends Connor Franklin Carpenter, Courtney Lopez, Raquel Stevens, and cousin Priscilla DeLeon were getting ready around her. But Selena was alone on the bed, notebook in hand, diamond earrings already on. She was writing her vows. And she was struggling. How do you put 10 years of friendship into words? She whispered to Priscilla. Priscilla sat next to her. You don't. You put the feeling into words. Selena looked at the blank page. She'd written and crossed out 3 different versions already. Because how do you explain to 170 people that you're marrying your best friend? That this isn't the passionate, chaotic love of her 20s, that this is the safe, steady, real love of her 30s? How do you tell them that after years of public heartbreak, you finally found private happiness? She wrote, Benny, 10 years ago, you were my friend. Today, you're my everything. And the difference is that I finally learned what love actually feels like. It feels like home. Simple, true, hurl. But as she wrote, there was something else on her mind. Something she hadn't told anyone yet. A decision she'd made 3 days ago. She wasn't going to stay at her wedding all night. While Selena wrote her vows, 170 guests were making their way to the secret location. Nobody had been told where the wedding was. Guests stayed at El Encanto Hotel, except Taylor Swift, who stayed at the Rosewood Miramar for privacy. That morning, shuttles picked everyone up. Only when they arrived did they see Sea Crest Nursery, a 70-acre estate that looked like a secret garden. The guest list was insane. The inner circle. Taylor Swift gave the main speech. Ed Sheeran also gave a speech. Benny's parents, Sandra and Andrew Levin. Only Murder's Squad. Steve Martin, Paul Rudd, Ashley Park. The unexpected guest. Paris Hilton worked with Benny on music. Siri Benny's collaborator. Zoe Saldana, Emilia Perez co-star. Sophia Carson, Camila Cabello, Cara Delevingne, Nina Dobrev, Phineas, Wizards Reunion, David Henry, Jennifer Stone, Maria Canals Barrera, David DeLuise. The notable absence. Meryl Streep was supposed to come, but had to cancel last minute for Devil Wears Prada 2 filming in Milan. Martin Short was reportedly texting her updates throughout the ceremony. Selena noticed and whispered to Benny, "He's texting Meryl." But here's what nobody expected. The rehearsal dinner the night before had been at an upscale Hope Ranch estate. They served Thai food. Why Thai? Because Benny and Selena's first date was at a Thai restaurant. Martin and Steve gave their joint speech there. It was funny, touching, and set the tone. But the real emotion, that was saved for the wedding day, for Taylor Swift's speech. Before we get to Taylor's speech, let's talk about Selena's dresses. All 3 designed by Ralph Lauren, all 3 perfect. Dress 1. The ceremony. Halter neckline, satin gown. 3D floral embroidery. Timeless, classic, elegant. The one everyone saw in photos. Dress 2. The reception. Made with 300 hand-shaped lace flowers. Sep B initials, sewn into design. Wedding date, 9/27/25. More relaxed but still formal. Dress 3. The exit. Off-shoulder white gown. Calf-length skirt. Cutout back. Paired with white ballet flats and clutch, the one she'd wear to leave. That's right, Selena had planned her exit outfit. Because she knew from the beginning, she wasn't staying all night. Getting ready that morning, she wore a navy blue robe embroidered with flowers. She put on sparkly cat-eye sunglasses, added a white net veil. Her friends took photos. She was glowing. But underneath the joy, there was something else. Determination. Determination to do this wedding her way, which meant breaking some traditions and leaving early. The ceremony started at golden hour. Selena's grandfather, David Cornett, 76 years old, walked her down the aisle. Not her father, Ricardo. Not her stepfather, Brian. Her grandfather, because her mother, Mandy, never got the chance to be walked down the aisle by her father. So Selena gave her grandfather that moment. The crowd watched as they walked slowly, arm in arm. David whispered, "You look just like your grandmother on our wedding day." Selena cried. Half the guests cried. Taylor Swift cried. We'll get to her speech in a moment. The ceremony itself was intimate. Vows were exchanged. Selena said, "Benny, you waited for me when I didn't even know I needed to be waited for. You loved me when I forgot how to love myself, and now I get to love you back forever." Benny said, "Selena, I've known you for 10 years, and every single day, I thought she's the one, and now I get to say it out loud. You're the one, always have been, always will be." The rings were exchanged. Not just wedding bands. Selena wore her Marquise engagement ring, plus a larger diamond wedding band. Benny wore a gold band with hidden details, their birthstones, ruby and aquamarine, and wedding date engraved inside. "I now pronounce you husband and wife." They kissed. 170 people cheered. And Selena thought, Phase 1 complete. Here's where things got interesting. No formal sit-down dinner. Instead, Nobu catering at cocktail tables where everyone mingled. No shoes allowed. Benny hates shoes. So the entire venue was covered in rugs and carpets. Selena and Benny spent most of the reception barefoot. You can see it in the photos if you look closely. No traditional first dance. Selena had said in interviews, "I don't think we're looking at having one of those 'cause they're a little, I feel embarrassed." Benny explained, "She's shy." But they did have the hora, the traditional Jewish chair dance. Selena had said she was very nervous about depending on people to hold the chair steady. Her solution? "I just gotta have a padding around." They did the hora. It was joyful, chaotic, perfect. But here's what was traditional. Selena's special dance with her grandfather. She'd said in podcasts, "I am looking to have a special dance with my papa." They danced to an old song, just the two of them. Everyone watched. It was the most emotional moment of the night. Until Taylor Swift's speech. Around 9 p.m., Taylor Swift stood up. The room went silent. Taylor and Selena have been best friends for over 10 years. They dated Jonas Brothers around the same time. They've supported each other through everything. But nobody was ready for what Taylor was about to say. "I've known Selena for more than a decade," Taylor began. "And in that decade, I've seen her at her highest highs and her lowest lows." She paused. "I've seen her on magazine covers, and I've seen her on the floor, crying over boys who didn't deserve her tears." Selena wiped her eyes. I've watched her give her heart to people who broke it, over and over. And every time, I wondered if she'd ever find someone who would treat it the way it deserves to be treated. Taylor looked at Benny. And then you showed up. Not with grand gestures, not with drama, not with chaos, but with quiet, steady, real love. Taylor's voice cracked. You've been her friend for 10 years. And you waited. You waited until she was ready. You waited until the timing was right. You waited until she knew what real love felt like. That's not just love, that's patience, that's respect, that's everything. By now, half the room was crying. Taylor continued. Selena, you deserve this. You deserve a love that feels like coming home. You deserve a partner who sees you, really sees you, and loves every part of what he sees. And Benny, you're the luckiest man alive. Because you get to love the most loyal, kind, talented, hilarious woman I know. So here's to Selena and Benny. To 10 years of friendship that became forever. To love that waited. To happiness that finally arrived. Taylor raised her glass. Cheers. Cheers, the room erupted. Selena stood up and hugged Taylor. They both cried. Ed Sheeran, who spoke next, couldn't top that. He knew it. Everyone knew it. Taylor's speech was the moment. After speeches, dessert came out. Not a big wedding cake. Selena had been clear. I do know I don't want a big cake. Instead, her Nana's biscuits and gravy. Yes, for dessert. Plus an ice cream sundae bar. Everyone loved it. It was so Selena, unpretentious, real, different. But as people enjoyed dessert, Selena quietly slipped away. She changed into dress-free. The off-shoulder white gown with the cutout back, white ballet flats, white clutch. She came back to the reception for one last moment. And then at 11 p.m., she and Benny left. Together. They literally ran through the catering area. Photos captured it. Selena laughing, Benny holding her hand. They left their own wedding while the party was still going. Later, Selena posted on Instagram. From writing my vows to leaving my wedding a little earlier than most. Everyone freaked out. Why would she leave her own wedding early? Comments flooded in. Wait, why did you leave? I would never leave my own wedding. Queen energy, doing things her way. But here's the truth. Selena left early because she wanted her wedding to be about connection, not performance. She'd spent years in the spotlight. Years performing for cameras. Years doing what was expected. And she was done with that. She wanted her wedding to be authentic. Which meant leaving when she wanted to leave. Not when tradition said she should. She'd said her vows. She'd danced with her grandfather. She'd heard Taylor's speech. She'd celebrated with 170 people she loved. And then she wanted to be alone with her husband. In a later interview, Benny explained, Selena had been planning for months. And one thing she knew for sure, she didn't want to be exhausted on her wedding night. She wanted to actually remember it, to be present, to enjoy being newlyweds. So we decided early on, we'd leave at 11 p.m., no matter what. And that's exactly what they did. They left their wedding at 11 p.m. They walked to the beach nearby. Photos show them arm in arm by the ocean. Selena in her white gown and flats, Benny in his tux, no shoes, of course. Just the two of them. The way it should be. Back at the reception, the party continued until 2 a.m. An insider told people at the reception everyone was letting loose and celebrating them well into the night. The vibe was so much fun. Taylor Swift reportedly stayed until midnight. Ed Sheeran left around 1 a.m. Martin Short and Steve Martin closed it down. Nobody was upset that Selena left. In fact, people loved it. Because it was so authentically her. The next morning, Selena posted behind-the-scenes photos, writing her vows in pink pajamas, getting ready in the blue embroidered robe, white chocolate strawberries decorated as bride and groom, running through the catering area to leave, walking on the beach with Benny. The caption, "From writing my vows to leaving my wedding a little earlier than most." The post got 18 million likes. Comments praised her. "This is how you do a wedding, your way. You left to be with your husband. That's what it's about. Queen of boundaries and self-care." Taylor's speech, "You leaving early, perfection." But here's what Selena's early exit really represented: a shift in how we think about weddings. For decades, weddings have been about impressing guests, following traditions, performing for others, staying until the last person leaves. Selena flipped the script. Her wedding was about authentic connection, chosen tradition, being present, prioritizing her marriage over the party. She skipped the first dance because it made her uncomfortable. She served biscuits and gravy for dessert because that's what she wanted. She had cocktail tables instead of sit-down dinner because she wanted people to mingle. She covered the venue in rugs so Benny could be barefoot. She left at 11 p.m. because she wanted to enjoy being newly married. Every choice was intentional. Every choice was hers. A week after the wedding, Selena did an Instagram Live. Fans asked about leaving early. Her answer: "Look, I love everyone who came to our wedding. Every single person matters to me. But at the end of the day, it's not about how long you stay at the party. It's about the marriage. And I wanted to start my marriage by being present with my husband, not exhausted and trying to entertain 170 people." We left, walked on the beach, talked for hours, and went to bed happy. That's what I'll remember. Not how late I stayed at the reception. Benny was next to her. He added, "Plus, everyone had more fun without us there. They could really let loose." Selena laughed. "True. Taylor told me they were dancing until 2 a.m. They had a great time, and so did we. Win-win." 2 weeks after the wedding, the metrics came in. Social media impact. Combined Instagram posts, 25 million likes. Taylor Swift speech, most talked about moment. Leaving early became a trending wedding topic. Bridal blogs wrote about it for weeks. Cultural impact. Wedding planners reported 40% increase in couples asking about early exit plans. Authentic wedding searches up 180%. Traditional wedding rules questioned more openly. Personal impact. Selena and Benny's marriage off to the best start. No wedding day regrets. Actually remembered everything because they weren't exhausted, set boundaries that worked for them. Selena Gomez didn't just have a wedding. She redefined what a wedding could be. 170 guests, 3 dresses, Taylor Swift's tearful speech, and an 11 p.m. exit. Not because she didn't love her guests, but because she loved her husband more and wanted to actually be with him on their wedding night. Revolutionary. Maybe. Obvious. Definitely. But it took Selena Gomez doing it for everyone else to realize. You can leave your own wedding whenever you want. Because the wedding is just one day. The marriage is forever.